Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I must say that whenever I accepted this slot, I did not think of what we will go through just before coming on panel here. So we had to endure some interesting time where that thing was hovering and we were trying to just survive the heat. So let's hope to have a little cooler discussion here, which will cool you down a little. But looking at the panel, I'm not very sure whether we can achieve that. Let me, I'll get to the topic soon, but first, I just wanted to invite all of you to just in a few words, if you can say about your company so the people know about you. Maybe Rahul, we can start from you and just a few words.
Hi, so I work with AbsolutData Research and Analytics, and we're a 23-year-old analytics company focusing on healthcare, CPG, finance, are the primary areas of analytics that we're involved with.
Hi all, I'm Vidya Gothe. I am part of DXC Technology. DXC is 1,30,000, 35,000 employees we have in all over the world. We have services like ITO Cloud, Application Service Line, Insurance, Analytics, BPS, and Security. These are the key 6 service lines technically what we support across globe.
Ganesh, Chief Product Officer for HARMAN TTS. HARMAN is a popular brand. You must have seen the products, be it HARMAN Cardo on the music systems, JBL, etc. These are the consumer brands. We also operate in the automotive space because a lot of the ADAS, in-car entertainment, consoles, we all built. I am part of the software side of HARMAN. I lead the products, new product development and existing product innovations.
Thank you very much, and great to have all of you in this panel. And let me again welcome all of you to this panel. Now, we are talking about a never normal world. Let me just set a little context. I mean, we have been hearing since yesterday many things which I think fit this. The whole idea is that sometimes this term called new normal came, right? And he said, okay, something is changing, we'll go adjust to that. But today, if you see many of the things, look at COVID. It came, and then it came again, and the moment you wish, it's away now. Right now, it's there in China, and we don't know what will happen, right? So it's one thing. And it's just, think about it, 3.5 years, not even 3.5 years since that happened. And we have seen so many things. Look from business perspective, on one hand, there was such a huge, tremendous growth followed by COVID. And then at least the tech industry is concerned. You see now there are mass layoffs happening. You see suddenly something like ChatGPT comes in and gets a kind of adoption. So what is happening? In fact, I was thinking I will use the word VUCA, but VUCA seems to be passé now. It's BANI, and BANI stands for brittle. So I found this recently. I said, oh, this is what it is. So we have illusion of strength, but actually it never existed. We were living in an illusion. That's B. Anxious. We have illusion of control. We can deal with things. But can we really deal with things? Non-linear. Illusion of predictability. World was never predictable, but we lived under that. And think about that, right? I mean, again, going back to COVID, many of you will have that story. My wife had some fever. You go to a doctor, and doctors are expert. Says nothing to worry, don't do anything. That's about it. I spoke to another doctor. He said, Yogesh, book a room in hospital right away and start on this medication. I mean, where are we? So it is as diverse an expert opinion as you can ever get. So that brings me to the last one, incomprehensible. So do we have illusion of knowledge? And that's the kind of stuff we are in. Now, the realization that world is like that means that you have to deal with that in a different way. So let me start first with my first question. Maybe first to you, Dr. Jay Ganesh. Do you believe it is a never normal world? And if so, what makes you think it is? And if not, what makes you think it is not?
So this notion of normality is subjective and it is relative depending upon the type of industry you operate in, the type of profession you are part of, etc. So I saw the first speaker in the morning talking about all the changes all the industries are going through, right? So they are at various levels of getting disrupted, right? So if you look at an industry like the technology and technology services industry, we have always gone through multiple iterations of changes, ranging from all the various technology revolutions we have gone through, and the industry has been reasonably resilient. We have gone through ups and downs. Similarly for various other industries, right? So I remember my dad used to work in a bank and computers were first introduced. He was working with State Bank of Travancore those days, and when the computers were first introduced, a whole bunch of employees went on a strike saying that it's going to take away jobs, right? So, and each industry has gone through multiple levels of abnormality or non-normal. We are in a very interesting phase with all the new technology developments disrupting not just the technology industry but the end consumers itself, right? So this is where a lot of the challenges are coming up in terms not just from a technology building, managing and making this technology available to people, but a larger extent in terms of, for example, how do you ensure the privacy? How do you ensure security? How do you ensure that the kids go into metaverse are not treated with all sort of different elements? How do you manage the content coming out of dark web? Things like that are impacting our normality. For example, I was going through this interesting research paper from one of those professors in a university in Portugal. An interesting study he and his colleagues did was they ranked the various programming languages across the world, ranging from C, C++, Python, Java, whole bunch of stuff, and Spark and others. The analysis essentially was about which of these programming languages are most green friendly or ESG friendly in that sense, because they try to look at how much each programming language, what is the footprint, and how much of consumption of power is needed to run a single command line for a particular programming language, right? So, and we all love Python, and the research says that Python is the most unfriendly language in terms of consumption of power and resources. So you can imagine the number, and some of the older languages like C, C++, lesser footprint, etc. So people are also looking at different dimensions in terms of how technology industry can be friendly to the environment as well. So we are never in a normal world, in my opinion, but we have to adapt to these changes, and how fast and how well we adapt will help us survive and thrive.
Yeah, thanks for bringing this point about sustainability for the tech industry. Vidya, same thing for you.
Yeah. As you rightly started, like a COVID, after this COVID situation of 2 years, the new normal word we are hearing more. Means my understanding is this crisis which comes in the normal condition just gets changed. As the change which is going to remain for a longer term, like that is going to be adopted as a normal, that's called new normal. Like that is going to become a baseline for us in the new world. For example, today we all are agreeing to work from home or the virtual hybrid work conditions. This is a new normal. Yes, so we are adopting for this new normal in all industries, irrespective of whether it is IT or it is education or wherever it is. That is the key change is what I can understand. But the remaining basic fundamentals will continue to remain same. For example, if you are training, the key fundamentals of the nurturing people, innovation, extensive knowledge sharing, all that will continue, but the methodology or the adopting that in the different world. That's new normal is what I can say.
Okay, so you are saying while there is an ever normal, but our tools to deal with that will not be so different. Yeah, thanks for that perspective. Yeah, Rahul, over to you. What's that you think?
Yeah, I think as the IT industry change is constant, so for specifically the IT industry, yes, it's a little bit of a change, but it's not that dramatic. I think the difference which has happened this time is it's simultaneously spread across the entire world and affected anything to do with work, life, business, which is where the great shakeup has happened in terms of calling this the new normal. I think if you look at the flip side or the positive side of it, technology adoption is shot through the roof. It will, to take off what Jay said in terms of environmental impact, hopefully reduce the volumes of aircraft zipping around the world for business meetings and stuff like that. But it's here to stay, and people have started using it, and using it for learning, using it for work, and just change the entire dynamics. So yeah, I agree, it's here to stay. It's no longer new anymore after 3 years, I think.
Okay, so you are saying now we are well into this situation. Let me move to therefore what. So we are all agreeing in some sense it's there. When you are faced with a situation like this, when things are shifting fast, that's very clear, right? Never normal, what we call it. One conventional wisdom is, whether for individual or for organizations or for countries, you need to build resilience, or for systems today. Resilience is very important, right? And what is very clear is that when game is changing, for anything to be resilient, innovation is necessary. Now, as there's a Chinese proverb, right, that when the wind of change blows, some will build walls, but some others will build windmills, right? Now, that's where the innovation comes in. So, Dr. Jay Ganesh, in your career, any example you would like to cite where in a changing situation, innovation is what, I mean, you built really, literally a windmill to harness the power.
Sure. So, you mentioned about resilience and how we should build more and more resilient systems. One of the things which we also need to keep in mind is that one of the drawbacks of extremely resilient systems that they're not adaptable. It's you got to be a genius to build systems which are resilient, at the same time change at the speed of what the business demands. So what we have seen and what we have been doing across various innovation initiatives is that you have this mothership which is going at a certain pace. It is resilient. At the same time, you build a number of smaller initiatives which essentially is going forward, going ahead at a faster pace, right? And looking around corners, if you want to call it that way. Identify opportunities, identify growth potentials, and then come back and then build those accelerators for the future. Two examples which we are currently going through. One is exploring this entire space of quantum and quantum computing. So as you all know that the last 2 years has been, this technology has seen tremendous growth, particularly because a number of new initiatives launched by larger players. For example, IBM has promised a 1,000-qubit machine sometime this year, and several other companies are entering into the quantum computing bandwagon. And there have been 2 SPAC listings last year, D-Wave and IonQ, etc. So the quantum computing and quantum revolution is here and now, right? It is not something which is going to come in the future, which means that a lot of the things which we build, the traditionally resilient RSA cryptography, is going to get broken. It's only a matter of time, right? So everybody's investing in terms of, can I build the next future-proof system which an RSA can, you're not able to break into the next cryptography, post-quantum cryptography is one area. We are also looking at how do you use quantum computing for optimization, right? So, and this is a great example of where we are actually getting incremental improvements in terms of logistics in last mile delivery, for example, because quantum computers are very good at multiple levels of optimization in things like portfolio optimization or even logistics optimization. You need to manipulate several hundred variables and you need to run millions of iterations, which traditional computers are failing and they don't work to that same level. So we leverage quantum computing for solving some of these difficult problems. That is one. The second one, of course, is where I heard ChatGPT mentioned at least a dozen times today. We have been working on generative AI for quite some time. And one of the interesting things we're trying to do is how can you bring in generative AI from some of those question answers and random things to bring it and integrate to an enterprise workflow, right? How can a salesperson on the ground going from store to store, gathering sales data, going through tedious Excel sheets and dashboards, can run unstructured queries on a large amount of data which we pump into the GPT-3 engine and get very, very rapid, very targeted answers. It is not letting the person go around and click 10 different things. You run you pump in a large data, which is enterprise data, on a proprietary data set, very well secure within the environment, and then run extremely random queries, right? So those are things we are trying to do to leverage existing technology and make existing enterprise workflows much more smarter.
Interesting. That's very interesting. Let me come to you, Rahul. And you had a very interesting career. You were in so many startups, and now with an enterprise. The conventional understanding is that startups are built on innovation, but sometimes the large enterprises have to really try hard to get to the level of innovation. So you have some thoughts on how the large enterprises can drive more innovation, learning from something what you've seen in startup world.
Well, that's yeah. So I think in the current organization, at least, I've utilized that startup experience by basically taking a problem which we need to figure out, creating a small team, primarily comprised of guys who have the skill sets and volunteer, and throw it down like a challenge and run it. For us, that's worked pretty well. There are no bounds like a startup in terms of use this technology, use that technology. No, use anything you can, solve the problem. Open source, something which is absolutely new, may not be tested, no harm in getting into it, understanding it, and then coming out with the solution. Once you've got the solution, then you go back and close all the holes, fix the security bits and bobs. Not the most efficient way of doing it, but it gets people to start thinking quickly. And for example, our product line called Navik AI, we've had good success with that kind of approach.
Okay, great, thanks. So Vidya, coming to you, so what we are all gravitating that, building resilience and innovation are key. And now coming from, you are taking care of the learning needs for such a large number of people. Obviously, none of this can happen unless people capabilities are aligned. And we have been talking about this whole broken talent environment, right? And so any practices you believe have succeeded in this organization or past? You've been part of a very large learning organization earlier also. In this kind of situation, what will work? And how do you even understand capability of your people first, right? And what will work to get them to a state that organization can become more resilient and more innovative?
First thing, to understand the capabilities of the people, it should not be like, you cannot just go and do a gap analysis. Gap analysis, sometimes it will be taken as a negative way. Through LNI, the learning need identification, you will come to know what are those, some amount of gaps exist. But how much close you work with a business, be part of the business meetings. In DXC, as of now, we are the part of the business organization, not as a part of HR. So we participate in all their leadership meetings, delivery meeting, operation meetings. When any new transition happens, we are the part, L&D person is a part of those meetings. So we understand what exactly is the gap, what exactly is they are looking for. Then we sit with them and brainstorm. Yesterday morning someone explained, we'll never go like a logistical team to take the requirement and execute. We analyze, work with them very closely and make sure that we fulfill those gaps. As you see the latest trend, it was like a full stack. The full stack was in a big noise across the organization. But how can I build? Every capability wise, the full stack programs are built very differently in DXC. It will not work. The same full stack developer program what I built for Java cannot be applied for mainframe. Mainframe is explicitly a very big capability in DXC, and we have done it like a factory model and made the mainframe people to feel proud that it is not a legacy, it is going to be the next generation technology also. The mainframe modernization continuously happening, and so much of interest and the people coming ahead to getting certified on full stack is very good. For senior people, with the StackRoute itself, which we worked, and a big successful program was an enterprise architect. As it was a program which actually, when our leadership came back to me and said we need to build an architect community. Architect community means, which we saw, I joined 2 years back, but before that there were many architect communities exist in the packets of every service line, and all were working in an isolation, they were not talking to each other. But if it is an enterprise architect, the person has to understand end-to-end the business model, all service line interactions, and able to give a solution at an organization level. Then we explored many things and worked with the StackRoute. It was a biggest successful program of this year, I can say it as. 34 enterprise architects were able to build it, and which is like they are completely transformed into enterprise mindset, enterprise processes, and T2X shape individuals. It is not the junior level people we took a people more than around 15 to 18 years experienced, and they invested 4 to 5 months of a good amount of around 100 hours or 80 hours of their time. If the program would not have had so much of value add, that level people would not have expected to spend so much time. It turned out to be a real great success. Now what we are doing is we are working with the business to make sure that they all are in the enterprise architect roles. So we are working backwards with them and then setting it up, making sure that the business absorb them as an enterprise architect. As a part of this enterprise architect development, Yogesh, we also focused on building their storytelling skills. Because once they are representing the organization, their overall development is important. Not only the building and approaches, processes, and the business understanding, their overall leadership skills also we focused on developing in this area. Now in the architect stream, the other programs is what we are building. Like I just took 2 examples of full stack, or it is an architect. Like every level, the capability understanding, we may have to analyze and do the customized way for that service line. But for everything, the proper communication with the leadership and their involvement is very important. For this program, I had almost 35 mentors from the leadership side to support us and made sure that this is a successful program. Now they are going to own it and help us to place them. That is the key mantra is what I can think of.
Thanks, and very happy to partner with you on this initiative.
Yes.
So basically, it's about aligning closer to the business and doing programs which will actually lead it to the business outcome.
Exactly.
And if you do that, then you are closer to dealing. Yeah, that's what you are saying. So I agree. And that brings me to the next question. So basically, if you look at this Bani world or the never normal world, that means organizations will, and this is for your Dr. Ganesh, organizations cannot predict what exactly is the opportunity they will be faced with, say, in next 1 month or 3 months for sure, right? That means you need to be prepared well enough, right? And on the other hand, we were hearing Amitabh yesterday, where individuals are looking at skilling broad. I mean, building career, this career ladder term is kind of getting, obsolete now. Career portfolio is what individuals is looking, but that's more from individual perspective, right? How can organizations harness this need of people to build a career portfolio and marry that with the need for organization to be very well prepared for variety of opportunities? Any example of what you've done maybe?
Sure. One of the things which we are trying to do, and happy to partner with the StackRoute team on that, is there is not enough high quality data scientists or people who can build models which are relevant for businesses. So there is always a huge demand for the same talent. Everybody wants the best so-called end-to-end machine learning expert or data scientist for that matter. So this is what we are trying to do in terms of, can you take a traditional software developer or software engineer and and identify potential areas where he or she can be cross-skilled. Right? I'm not even calling it upskill because the cross-skilling in terms of looking at potential areas where he or she wants to build their career. Right? And Ashish Vidya spoke in the afternoon in terms of forcing someone to go through a certain course versus voluntarily. One of the things we found interesting was when we started identifying the people for some of these changes, and we found a significant number of people have shown interest. It could be peer pressure because all their friends are doing the same courses or things like that. But one of the interesting things is that when we launched this course and when we found the final success rate in terms of the number of people we were able to cross-skill and the quality of output which they have now started generating over the last 2 to 3 months, it's been a sea change range, because these are kids who have not been exposed to some of these modeling concepts, some of the statistical concepts, mathematics behind it, etc. And that is a jump start we were able to get within 3 months. Pleasantly surprised, because these are initiatives which are helping turn around organizations bit by bit, because a lot of the traditional technologies are going to continue as it is, but and of course there is a huge demand. The growing demand is for some of these things like cloud, for example. It's a $500 billion market size, and people want to learn some of these skills. So there are always people coming and asking me, can you put me in some of these initiatives, etc. So and it's a pleasant thing to hear, because people are aware that if I continue on this current career path, my growth or it could be stifled for that matter, because there is a lot more demand happening in certain areas. So this is where we try to help people identify the right set of courses, the right set of cross-skill initiatives which they can equip. The second thing we are also doing is that the learning journey doesn't end there once the course is done. We have also launched several special interest groups within the company, which essentially kicks off once people pass out or complete their courses. So these special interest groups are managed by experts. For example, quantum, there are a bunch of quantum experts, similarly for generative AI, etc. So they give regular tasks to these people on a weekly basis. These are people who are not doing coding on machine learning on a day-to-day basis. So they are doing in, let's say, the day job is Java, they just want to continue some of these things. So those things are also helping them, because it keeps them rooted, it keeps them connected to what they've learned and continue it, and they can pick up the next opportunity which comes to the table.
Thanks. And one interesting thing from what both of you shared, Vidya and Dr. Ganesh, both of these programs, valedictory I saw, and every learner was so excited about learning new things. I mean, I relate to the question in one of the earlier panels today, that learners face pressure that you have to continuously learn. I didn't see any pressure. The point really is, it should be clear to them why it is happening. It should be clear that your business is with them, and there should be space to learn. I mean, if you cram up a 20-day learning into 20 hours, anybody will face the pressure, right? So I think that's really the point. So thanks for sharing that. Let me move to you, Rahul, again. Again, continuing the same theme of career portfolio, and I can't think of any better example than you. The kind of variety of roles you have played and built a career portfolio for yourself, from automation to data centers to now CISO to CTO. What motivated you? How did you build this kind of a career portfolio for yourself?
3 words: I get bored easily. So, yeah, okay, I had the advantage of starting 3 decades ago, where if you were a developer, you were full stack. I mean, there was no front end, back end, database, this, that. You had to know the entire thing end to end. So you figured it out. And if it didn't work, you had the dubious distinction of going and learning electronics engineering. So you just got down to the hardware level. If the damn thing didn't work in COBOL, which is what I used to code in, you just got down to C and spoke to the machine and tried to get the thing to move faster. So it's just that the boredom and the innate curiosity which got me to look at this. But then this is something that I've tried to push into the teams that I've always run. I said, stop being myopic. You're not a Java developer. You're a developer, right? And then sooner or later, you stop this front end, back end, I don't know database kind of stuff. Look at the entire thing end to end, because you have to understand what you are creating. And till you don't understand what you're creating, you will never have a robust solution. The other favorite of mine for the guys I work with is you're not restricted to a language. Language is syntax and grammar. Your brain is wired. You've trained it to think logically. If it's Java today, it's Python tomorrow, it's C# day after. 3 days, yeah, spend the weekend, scale, understand it. Yeah, the first set of programs will take you 3 times a guy who's in sync with it. But then sooner or later you scale up and you suddenly start realizing each technology for what it can do, and your solutions just become more robust, they work quicker, and they're far more efficient. So, that mix and match is what I've tried to push into day-to-day work, having done it myself.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
I just want to add on to this. We are talking about full stack today. I started my career at 2000 with NIIT. And we were a full stack that time. We learned front end, back end, database, everything. And I used to teach some 4 semesters. All technologies, we used to learn it in 1 week. Yes, the time given was Monday you start, Saturday you present your project. That was the way the boot camp we have undergone. So I don't know, nowadays it's so difficult to convince people that you have to be full stack.
Yes. I know. I mean, when I wrote my first program, I basically painted the screen on a DOS environment because I was trying to do UI and wrote back and everything. For me, non-full stack didn't make sense, but anyway, world has moved, I suppose. But just a last question, the same thing on career portfolio. Now, DXC is a large organization, right? To be agile there, you can go for specialized functions, any opportunity, separate group can take, small organization can't afford that. Or you can build career portfolios. What's your thought? I mean, is there a sense in building career portfolios in a company like DXC?
Yes, every career, as we are speaking from yesterday, role-based curriculum to skill-based curriculum, we are shifting. We procured the big, the platforms like Udemy, LinkedIn, and all this, putting on the Edcast kind of the platform, which is very social media based, user-friendly. So it's very easy to build academies, learning paths, and ocean of content we have given it out to our employees. But how much they are going to use it? It is like a YouTube. If you give an YouTube, you keep on browsing it, then taking that to make it very relevant like a Byju's or the Vedanta, we build academies and take it up to each capability. This is explicitly for your level 1, level 2, level 3, and this is the way you can build your capabilities. We do multiple the capability connects and work closely with the business, the organization, as I rightly said, L&D sits with business. So we work with part of all capabilities and do these transformation initiatives. Along with that, we conduct multiple events. People should not feel it like a push. It's a pull factor. It's kind of a learning becomes a celebration. As you train, we award you, reward you, and be part of the successful journey of the DXC. So new deal coming up, people who are required for any high-end technology, we handpick some 18 months completed, tenured people from the system and announce some of those programs and make them to nominate and come ahead and be participative of those things. Like this, continuous innovations, we keep on doing it. As a L&D team, conduct an innovation month and innovation week celebrations. With partners also, we do multiple programs. It's just to keep all the time continuous learning attitude. We keep on doing this. And competency framework, we have built it up, which is help employees to understand where do they stand in their skill. And what are those nearby skills which we can, if I have it, and where I can go into the ladder. Like technology ladder, architecture ladder, as well as for the administrative or the people manager, the different kinds of the programs are built to give them the career paths. We do also have the career navigator, which can help them to guide how they can move into their career journeys.
Thanks. And I'll pick that line. Learning becomes celebration. I think
Yes.
we should end on that note. We have one more minute for taking any questions from the audience. I think we can take one question. Anyone has any question, please do.
Yeah. Yes. It was exactly not one-to-one mapping, Bimal. But what we made is we made a set of the key leaders who are from each of the service lines who keep demanding these enterprise architect. We made them as a sponsors first. And from all the we have a program called Tech Honors who got certified. We made them, you are to be the mentors for this program. When there are 6 of them who came ahead as a mentors, they felt so interested in this program content and they felt that this is the first time something like this we are doing. Always we focused on technology architect or solution architect. Solution architects again sit in each of the service line of the capabilities. We took their commitment and made them to give one-on sessions, but later you don't believe they came ahead and delivered multiple sessions for them. And then we made for every 2 enterprise architect, 1 mentor at a senior level, we are able to get it later. And it went on very well. And StackRoute also had given us 6 mentors, all senior leadership people. They did a great job. After I think 2 to 3 weeks when we deep-sticked at the program, we completely changed many things. And it evolved as really a great program at the end. Thanks to StackRoute and NIIT for that, it was really a successful program.
Thank you very much, and it was a pleasure to interact with you. I learned a lot. I'm sure our audience did. Thank you very much.
Thank you.